they played with a little bit, I'm not going to say fear, but they didn't want to lose. But eventually they managed to overcome that again and get a very important win. The celebration were amazing the day after and the next days. But I'm almost about to cry like Eva Payer, because literally 5 minutes ago, Alexia Putellas has just announced that she's leaving FC Barcelona after 14 seasons. So it's heartbreaking news. We all kind of knew that this was about to happen, especially if he won the title, but she has just announced it in a very beautiful video. I was just listening to it now, translating Catalan into English. She says that she doesn't want this moment to be a sad moment, that this has been a perfect story. She put some sad Rosalia music. So, and tomorrow I can announce you that there will be, still not official yet, but I know it's happening, a tribute, a farewell tribute to Alexia Putellas at the Camp Nou with all the titles at 11 a.m. Spanish time. So this is exciting times in Barcelona, at the same time heartbreaking times, but because it's almost impossible to analyze what Alexia Putellas meant to Barcelona, to the women's team, to Spanish national team, to everything. She has inspired so much. She's done everything, and she's got all the right to do with her career what she wants. So I hope she's got a very emotional and loved farewell here in Barcelona.
Yeah, definitely. That is some big breaking news indeed that, of course, we have been monitoring. We're going to speak a little bit more about Alexia Putellas in just a bit. But just, guys, here on the panel, Ali, your reaction to Barcelona winning and how they won this one, because it was a battle of two heavyweights, but you had Barcelona as your favorites all season long, even though they were going through some difficulties too, like the ones that Gemma pointed out, the fact that they had to do a lot without an Aitana Bonmatí, who was 100%, of course, making her way back after injury. We saw them lose in the final last year. We saw Spain lose the Euros as well to England again, and we know that that Spanish team, the engine, comes from Barcelona. Right. So we were wondering if that Barcelona spark was still there.
Yeah, it's definitely still there. They have now proven that they are dominant in Europe, and they are the best club team in the world. And they are, the second half was ruthless, and they proved that they could have this complete performance, and they deserved this win. Obviously, at the beginning, it looked a little bit back and forth, but their ability to turn pressure into goals is what separates them to be this elite team that they are. You know, and Putellas had such a brilliant impact on this team, and she left this legacy, and she left this standard to be as high as it is, and every other player just, you know, surrounding her with all of that love and that respect and just that care that she has given this club over the years. She's given everything.
Yeah.
So to tie a bow on top of, you know, your career with Barcelona as Alexis Putellas, for her, I'm so happy that she was able to achieve that and leave the club with that success that she has given all of these years. So incredible finish. They're the elite team in Europe. They're enjoyable to watch, and they have incredible players. So this will hopefully continue on for years. And these young stars were impacting the game in a brilliant way. And it's just really lovely to see. So congrats to them. They deserved it and really shut the door in the second half to that game.
I mean, enjoyable to watch is definitely putting it nicely, because Ali, you and I text each other every time Barcelona plays, and we want to sit down with popcorn, a glass of wine, and just let pure cinema take center stage. But Jeff, looking at it now and sparing a thought for Olympique Lyon, and especially Lindsay Heaps, who definitely would have wanted this before she comes back home stateside to play in NWSL. It was all going so well. We thought she got that opening goal, but overall, how should Lyon take this and now Lindsay's legacy in Europe before she gets back?
Yeah, I think Lyon as a team, I mean, I think you saw a little bit of, I don't know if it was ego or not, but you know, you've got a little bit of like you poke the bear with Barcelona, right? And you look at what Arsenal did last year, some of the meetings against Chelsea, obviously not all of them between Barcelona and Chelsea, but you know, they changed the way that they played in a way to be more conservative, to be defensive, to adapt to Barcelona, because there is so much talent and you can't necessarily go toe-to-toe with that. And I think Lyon obviously has talent itself and has depth, but I think, you know, that first half, sure, if the Heaps goal stands, if they get one before halftime, maybe this is a different game. But they didn't back down. And I think in one way that's admirable, right? But in the other way, you know, you see that then leads to a game where it can open up, and Barcelona's plenty happy to take that space, wait that out, and then the second 45 sort of erupt with the goals that they had. So I think in that sense, from a team perspective, you know, maybe in retrospect, hindsight 2020, maybe Jonathan Heraldez thinks about that a little bit different. And, you know, for Lindsay Heaps, I think obviously a pure disappointment. Wanted that title or another title before leaving, considering how long she's been at that club as well.
Yeah, Lindsay Heaps, of course, she was in tears after the game. But Gemma, back to you now, because it does sound like a lot of tears will be shed in Barcelona with that breaking news that you gave us that Alexia Putellas is leaving after so long at the club. I mean, it's hard to think of a Barcelona without Alexia Putellas, even with the emergence of Aitana Bonmatí. You know, they just go so well together there. We hear that she's been linked with the London City Lionesses over in England. But my question for you is, why would she want to leave, and why now?
Well, because she's been 14 seasons in Barcelona. She achieved everything. She played more than 500 games, scored over 230 goals, more than 30 trophies, including 4 Women's Champions League, and clinching that last Champions League. I thought it was the perfect momentum. You know, last season she was really close of leaving too, but she decided to stay. She's a culé. She always will be a Barcelona supporter. But, you know, I was next to the Vicky Losada during the Disney Plus transmission the other day, and she did something similar. She was the captain of Barcelona, won everything, but they wanted to try another experience. And, of course, with all the respect to the other Spanish league teams, she has played 14 seasons playing against Eibar, Dux Logroño, a small stadiums, empty stadium. She wants to experience another thing. She wants to play at against Man United, against Man City, against Arsenal. So we will see if we are able to confirm that movement to the London City Lionesses. But she wants to live another thing, another experience. And I think it's fair because she has given absolutely anything and everything for Barcelona. And I not only speak about sport, about football, because if Barcelona were able to put 100,000 spectators at the Camp Nou, or just this season 2 games with over 60,000 spectators, this is because Alexia is more than a football player. She's an icon. She's the player whose shirt is everywhere in the stands. She's a reference point for a generation and a symbol of equality in the women's empowerment. You know, she fought so much for the Spanish league to be professional, not to say what she standed for with the Spanish national team, that rebellion against the terrible mismanagement of the Spanish FA and Luis Rubiales. So she's done everything. She fight a lot. She achieved absolutely everything, and she wants to try something new. She's 32, so she wants to experience something new in the last years of her career. That I'm gonna say, I think. It's still a lot of years. I actually asked her just before the final, like if she was in the enjoying the best momentum of her career, and she said, "No, it's still to come, my best moment."
Wow, still to come. That is definitely scary for defenders everywhere indeed. But Ali, London City Lionesses now, she's heavily linked there. Of course, it's an exciting time for London City Lionesses given the financial investment there and the growth of WSL. Would you make of it as a destination for a name like Alexia Putellas? As Gemma said, I mean, she's a generational talent. She's someone that just transcends the sport, but is looking at it for a new challenge.
Yeah, ultimately, you know, as a player, for a player's perspective, I can totally relate to that. You just want something new. You want a new challenge. You want a new experience, a new culture, a new place. And I think London is a brilliant choice for her.
Maybe not for weather. She hopefully doesn't want good weather anymore.
I love the city. I love the city. So I'm biased towards that. But I think it's a really good position. Obviously, you know, if it is that, you know, I'm quite surprised that it wouldn't be a Chelsea, an Arsenal, or Man City. But nonetheless, they are building something tremendous there. And obviously, Michelle Kang, who wouldn't want to be involved with what she is building at any club that she's a part of, and to really create a new legacy and to have a new experience and to really challenge yourself as a player. And I think from an English perspective, this is amazing. It's massive for the league and for the WSL and all of us, you know, watching the games, you know, week in and week out for us. It'll be so enjoyable to see her, you know, just have a new jersey. And she is the heartbeat of Barcelona. Don't get me wrong. She's left a tremendous legacy there. there. But now you just want a new challenge, and she has many years to play football. I think some of my best years ended up being at the end of my career, just because you start enjoying it and you start appreciating the game a little bit more because you know you're kind of coming close to the end. But what a shift for her. She has many years ahead of her. At the rate that she's going, this is going to be so good, this move, and it'll be really impressive to see where she goes next.
Yeah, absolutely. She has nothing to prove. Jeff, were you also surprised when you saw that Alexia Putellas was linked to London City?
Yeah, I mean, just, obviously a relatively new team at this level, in this top flight, and as a big spender. So I think, to be the caliber of player being, one of the top players in the world at a club with relatively very little history. I mean, to the points that you both made, it's not going to Chelsea. It's not going to Man City or Arsenal where you might expect a player like that to go. And I think what stands out to me from what Gemma said actually is, the stadium piece of wanting to play in front of more consistently, at least, full crowds and crowds on the road. And I think, you look at that, and if a player of this caliber is thinking in that way, maybe not singularly as the decision, but that is something that the WSL and the NWSL has talked about consistently. It's the commercial piece. And that piece for a lot of leagues around the world has really lagged behind those two leagues that will continue to attract that kind of talent.